Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah. I'm so glad to see you here. I want to talk today about something that's difficult to talk about, and of course y'all know why, and that's fear. And I want to specifically talk about whether or not you're afraid to succeed. And I will go first in a spirit of transparency. The answer for me is yes. I never really understood that I was afraid to succeed, and that's mostly because fear for a long time, since I was a child, has permeated every part of my life, and it's just become second nature. I just have lived with fear for such a long time, and it's not like poor me, because I think that's how most people are. I think most people are afraid of most things. When you're living your life that way, though, you're very handicapped. It's very hard to accomplish big dreams and goals, and I'm accomplishing big dreams and goals now. I am no longer going to handicap myself or think that I'm not worth reaching for something greater than I already have. I really decided to change the way I viewed life in 2016. I had pushed down so many memories and experiences that had happened in my life that were really negative. And I had just kind of pushed them really far down to the point where I didn't remember them. A lot of them anyway. And in 2016, at the very tippy top of the year, I remembered everything. And it was like once a couple of memories came to the surface, everything came to the surface, and it was really difficult for me. Mental breakdowns always sound so dramatic to me, but I'm pretty sure that what was going on with me in the beginning of 2016 was one, because I was pretty much paralyzed. Like, I could not deal with the thoughts in my mind. I was having nightmares. I was having constant anxiety attacks. It was really, really bad. So in my mind, that seems like what a mental breakdown is. I pursued therapy really heavily. I joined a group who got together regularly to talk about things. I did a lot of work, is what I guess I'm trying to say. And it was agonizing because I had to really tear down my entire self, because I kind of built up these lies that were really intrinsic to who I was, because that's kind of how I dealt with some trauma. And in order to recover from it, I just knew that I had to pull out every last thing that I had thought and believed and understood about my world. Examine it, toss out the stuff that either didn't serve me anymore or was just flat out a lie, and then re-engage with the things that were really positive and healthy and awesome about my life. During the course of all of that deconstruction, I realized that I was fearful of everything, and I still have a lot of fear. It's not like I've arrived, but I have come really, really far. For that reason, I wanted to share these thoughts and ideas with you, because I feel like the more I know about what's going on with other people, the more I realize that we're all kind of the same. We're all dealing with a lot of the same issues, worries, and insecurities, and I just always hope that something that I've gone through in my life, if I share it, it'll help you, and then we can all kind of grow together. And that's why I want to talk today about whether you're afraid to succeed, because that was one of my greatest fears. I felt so much shame about who I was as a person, and I felt so powerless to do anything in my life. And of course, that just means that you're barely going to get by, and you're definitely not going to dream big, and you're not going to go for it, because you can barely live day to day, you know? If you've identified in yourself a real fear about pursuing goals, or every time you dream big, you say to yourself, I could never do that. Who am I kidding? I do not have what it takes to do X, Y, or Z. I'm here. I understand that thought, and it is complete garbage. You were created for a purpose, and the only person who really can stop you is you. Your thoughts, the things that you dwell on, are what will dictate your behavior. So if you're really struggling in this area, you've got to get control of your thought life. Warning, this is going to be uncomfortable, because in order to really work on yourself, you have to examine the issues, and that sucks. Nobody likes it. There are a bunch of ways you can do it. You can get out a notebook and write freehand. You can type on a computer. You can get out the voice memo app on your phone and just start talking, writing, typing. List exactly what you're afraid of. Like, I'm afraid of this happening. And then the worst thing that can happen is this. And just really get out everything. I think you'll start, and it's kind of hard to start, but as you go, you'll start to realize that there are a lot of things that are tied together that you've just been afraid of. Once you have everything written out, I think it's important to change the dynamic. For instance, before I started YouTube, I was super scared. I had wanted to do it for a long time and I had a lot of fear about it. I was afraid that if I showed up on a platform like YouTube and just was my transparent self, that I would be rejected. And if I was rejected, that would be validation that all of the terrible things that I feared were true about myself were actually true. Once I started thinking about it though, I was like, that is so ridiculous. Like, maybe a gazillion people aren't going to relate to me or like me, but is everyone going to dislike me? Absolutely not. That's just ridiculous. YouTube is a huge platform. There are people who are going to be my people, who are going to like me and I'm going to like them, and we're going to be able to support each other and love each other. And guess what? That has happened. That is just one of like 500 examples of fears that I had in my life, but I had to put them down because a lot of times when something is just in your mind, it has all the power. So after you've written out the things that you're afraid of and you've written out counter arguments, if you will, then it is time to fill your mind with things that are really positive, that are going to keep bolstering those sane parts of you that realize that the world is not against you and that you're not incapable of doing anything that you want to do. There are a lot of ways to do this. I am not here to tell you the best one, but some examples are spending time in prayer, meditating, singing songs that are really uplifting and wonderful, listening to podcasts that are encouraging, reading books that are motivating. There are a million different ways, and I'm actually going to put a couple of resources below. I was actually listening to a meditation last night as I was getting ready for bed, and it was about fear, and it was so good. The meditation is on the Patreon app, so I can't really link that meditation, but it's from a passage that was written by someone, and so I can put the passage in the description box. I'm also listening to this book right now called Mind Change Method, and it is so awesome. It's about changing the way you think, and that is very helpful to me. That is like nourishing to me. It is really putting in good so that there is so much good in my mind that I'm not really going back to those comfortable patterns of fear, which, let's face it, fear is comfortable. Fear is what keeps us kind of in a place where we never dare greatly, where we will never really get hurt because we already feel pretty hurt. It's just a bad cycle. But anyway, I'll put those resources down below. The author of the Mind Change Method did 2 videos that are pretty brief, and I'll link those below, with someone that I really love on YouTube named Hannah. Nature is another awesome thing. If you just spend a little time outside, it's kind of difficult right now in the winter depending on where you live, but if you can, go outside even just for a little bit. It's going to put something good in your mind. Okay. So you've addressed your fears, you've counteracted your fears, you're putting good things in your mind, and then now you have to do something about it. Fear is really counteracted by exposure therapy, for instance. In my earlier example of being afraid of YouTube, I had to use exposure therapy to really get over that fear. I will be editing this video later on today, and as I edit, I will be scared. And as I upload, I will be scared. And as it goes live, I will be scared because I am still working on this. I am still a work in progress with fear. I know that there will come a day when I don't have that, but I'm still recovering from decades of being afraid and letting that rule my life. So the exposure to the fear actually helps counteract it, which sounds crazy, but it's true. If you will pick an area in your life that you're scared of and do something about it. If you're afraid of relationships, go make a friend. If you're afraid of making videos and everybody hating you, make videos and take that chance. Because once you do the thing that you're afraid of, it takes away a lot of the power, because you realize all the stuff that you're afraid of is extreme and unfounded. It is really terrifying though. I don't want to diminish that. I don't want to act like, oh, we'll just go do something about it. But just start small. Start with something that you feel is the least threatening to you, that has like the least ability to hurt you, and try that thing. And then just try more and more things, whether they're conversations that you've been afraid to have or changes in your own self that you know you need to implement. Just take the smallest thing, confront it, and keep doing that until you feel a little bit more comfortable. Not completely. Once again, I've been making YouTube videos for over a year and I am still pretty scared, but it is nothing like when I first started posting videos. I am here 100% if you're watching this video and you want to talk about something, or you're scared, or you just want to like bounce ideas off of me. I am here. You can comment below. You can find me on Instagram and DM me. I have a lot of experience with fear and fear-based attitudes and behaviors, and I'm starting to get some experience in overcoming them. So I'm here for you should you need me. If you've already been thinking these thoughts and you're already kind of aware of areas that you need to confront, that you're fearful of, awesome. I hope this motivates you in a little way, because you know what? You're not the only one who is working on your life and making yourself vulnerable in order to reach something that you really, really want. That's all I really wanted to say today. I'll have those links in the description box below. You are so loved, and I hope that you know that. I'll see you next time.